This is Matthew, author, artist, and commentator. I run luminousbeings.blog, where you can find all my articles, stories, drawings, and podcasts. You are listening to another Ridercast, where I cover 20 years of Rider, 1 week at a time. So the concept behind this is that I will be talking about one Rider, the first 2 episodes of them, and I will be kind of judging it and giving my first impressions based on 3 criteria. And I'll be doing that from Kuuga to Build, and I'm going to stop after that. And, this is all because I love Kamen Rider, but I'm skipping this year's Kamen Rider, which is Zi-O, after having watched every year consecutively since, let me think about that for a moment. Hesei. Hesei was my first show that I watched week to week, and I believe it started airing in 2011, and I've been watching week to week since then. And that's I'm really big into Kamen Rider, and I'm not into Zi-O so much. And I wanted to talk about that and get all that stuff out of the way before I go into Kuuga, which will be the next episode, which the 2 of these will be coming out within rapid succession, so you won't have to wait long. But anyway, it's a couple days after Shotaro Ishinomori's would have been 81st birthday. Right? I don't know how to say that because he died, in 99, 98, something like that. Anyway, the reason that I'm mentioning that is because I have been kind of sitting on this since the beginning of January and not doing anything with it. And I've had Kuuga on my phone, and I've got, the first 2 episodes of a couple of shows lined up and ready to watch and make notes on and record and everything, and I just haven't done it. Being reminded by Ishinomori's birthday by seeing stuff on Twitter and stuff reminded me, hey, I should do this already. So anyway, I mentioned I'm a big fan of Kamen Rider, but I'm not so into Zi-O. I watched the first 2 episodes when they came out, and the first one I was kind of skeptical. The second one, I thought, no. I'm going to try to be brief on the show. I don't want it to be too long. Especially that formula I made is good for me because, like I mentioned in my little intro with the music, I'm a busy guy. I'm writing, I'm trying to write every single day, at least one thing, one creative thing. And then I just added this meditation type thing that I'm writing also. And, so anyway, that's, 2 things, so 10 times a week I'm putting my thoughts towards something. And I also have a G Gundam podcast, which you can find on luminousbeings.blog. And now I'm adding this on. And that's after I did, 3 months straight of SS Gridman over on trialofheroes.wordpress.com, which is the TOE network. I have, that podcast host over there, and it's moved over at my blog. But I thought, I kind of want to do something on my own. And I thought I'd decide to talk about other Kamen Riders because I'm not watching Zi-O, and it frees me up to explore the other Riders, and that's kind of exciting. I've almost wanted to not enjoy a Rider as it was coming out after watching for like 5 or 6 years, so that I could shift away to something else. And Zi-O just felt like a good enough time for me to push away. And it's not that I hate Zi-O or have any real issues with it. It just didn't speak to me. I have a lot of, I'm kind of like an anarchist, which isn't what you might think it is at first. Like, I'm for maximal liberty, and I kind of think the more laws we have, the more, if you just look at criminal justice reform and the abolition of the freeing up of marijuana in the United States of America, there are a bunch of, the war on drugs has failed, and it's hurt people, and the more laws there are, the more the more people can be criminals just by living lives the way they want to. Like, it used to be a crime to be gay, all sorts of things like that. So I'm very liberal in that respect. And Sogo, which is the protagonist of Zi-O, wanting to be a king and knowing that he becomes an overlord, or an authoritarian tyrant, it made me want to shy away from that show. So I thought, what better time than now to check out these other shows. And I've been thinking about doing this Another Rider, and I love the Another Rider concept. I had it as my, I drew this thing of, I'm really into the Persona series as well. So I previously had drawn this thing of Kamen Rider Black meeting the Persona version of a Kamen Rider Black. Like, it's Black Sun like Persona 4 has these monster versions of the heroes, of the heroes' personas that they fight, their shadows, and then the shadow transforms into a persona. And I thought, like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to do that with a Kamen Rider, because they're supposed to be pulled from a source of evil, or their power comes from their villains that they fight, but they use it for good. And that's kind of like the shadow and the personas in the Persona series, specifically like in the example in Persona 4. So I wanted to go on that and make a Kamen Rider Black, a Black Sun. He's like a samurai. Looks pretty cool. At least I think so anyway. And it was a fun idea. And I love this another Rider concept. And then seeing that they were doing it in Zi-O, I kind of got excited for it. But then when I saw it, I do like another Rider. I like the way they look, but it's just the show didn't grab me, like I said, and I'm not going to belabor that point. So yeah, I'll just stop with that. And I'll say that this another Rider cast that I'm doing is basically running kind of counterpoint to Zi-O. Zi-O is basically introducing you to the premise of another of the other Kamen Rider shows, and it's letting you see a little bit of their cast, and it's showing off their designs, both the writer's original design, the another Rider design, and then kind of the reinterpretation of that into these other forms. Sorry, I'm not very pleased with most of them, so that's why the sigh. Anyway, so I thought I would do the same thing. I'll watch the first 2 episodes of each show, all 20 shows, so that's 40 episodes in 20 weeks, and I will kind of try to ignore what I know about the show and just say, based on these first 2 episodes, what does it look like the premise is? And then I'll, tell you that, and I'll give my thoughts on it. And then what I would do next is look at all the characters in the show, give my opinions on them, talk about whether or not they have chemistry, tell you who my faves are and maybe least favorite, whatever, and then go on from there and talk about the designs of the characters and the good, the bad, and I mean both the heroes and the villains, and also what I think are the high points and low points of the character designs. The Kuuga episode I've already worked on a little bit. I think I went way overboard. I included all this information, all this meta information I call it, which is like the name of the OPED, like who wrote them, who sang them, who composed them, things like that. I kind of went bonkers with who's the head writer and director, and I looked into that, and I don't have a lot of time, so I think I'm going to truncate that as I go on, and one of these days when I start a podcast, I'll do like 4 episodes on my own, without publishing and without fear of publishing, and I'll just truncate them and get smoother and settle into where I'm going to be then. But for now, I'm still moving forward. I was late, doing this. I've been sitting on this for a few weeks, and I should have done this already. But I'm going to figure out a formula as I go along. So by like the 3rd or 4th episode, I should be pretty settled in how these are going to look. But that's really all I have to say for now. And please look forward to Kuuga and Agito and the rest. And like I said, once you see this one, Kuuga should be available pretty soon after that. Thank you for your time and attention. I'd love to do more of this. Like, share, and subscribe to cheer me on, or give me feedback to make me stronger and smarter. Visit luminousbeings.blog for more. I link everything I do there, so if you want to comment, that's a place where I'll definitely see it.